feel like that's the Waynesville part.
Right?
5, 4.
Yeah, exactly. I always think of like Groundhog's Day.
I think I missed one.
You know the movie Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray?
Yeah.
He always does a countdown before he goes on. Of course, he ends it rather rudely.
I don't remember that.
When he gets to 1, he uses a certain finger for 1. See, that's how that works.
That's nice.
So we don't do that, but we do count it down. So welcome to a recording of Shoe the Dough podcast. Monday and Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, we will stream these live.
Central.
Yes, we should mention Central. And, man, it's like 2 shows in 1 for us because we want to be entertaining to the video audience. But really, at the end of the day, we're here to record a podcast for the audio audience.
That's right.
So please don't feel ignored as I look to the camera. Please don't feel ignored.
Well, even if you are feeling ignored, viewer, you can interact with us now because we posted our Twitter information and a number that you can text if you want to interact with the show.
And that allows you to have input into the show itself, and so we can answer questions or take comments or whatever the case may be. But it also makes the video part, like really loose. Like, you know, it's like, see, I like to chop things up and make them like really tight, you know, and so like all the good stuff is in there, and only the good stuff. But you get to see all the boring stuff too.
Hey, I don't think we're that boring.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Speak for yourself. I can be a little dry. In fact, I'll try right now.
Okay.
To be a little bit boring.
I am so bored.
There was this one time where I was doing something, and it was a nice day. It was like 70, I think. But the day before it had been like 65, and so it was warmer on that day than most days. And I like days where it gets a little bit warmer than the last day because it makes you think things are getting better.
You know what?
Right?
I want to applaud you for your success. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You have bored me to tears.
I appreciate it.
I'm not really crying.
You want to shoe a dough?
Oh, I want to shoe a dough.
Well, let's shoe a dough then. SiftPop, where we talk a little bit about pop culture, and today we're going to look at a movie that is called The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. Marigold Hotel.
What did you say?
Marigold. But if you want to go there,
I missed that part.
You can go there as well. Yeah, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. And this is a movie that stars a big cast and takes place in India. And is a movie about an older generation and kind of how they handle getting older. And
it's a coming-of-age story.
A coming of... really?
The second time around.
a coming of elderly age.
Coming of elderly age
story that we're going to look at today. And, you know, not every movie in the summer is a big box office smash with special effects and explosions. There are actually other movies that come out during the summer. And since we both had seen it, we thought we'd chat about it a little bit. Because I know I want to talk to you about it. Because I'm really interested to hear your opinions on it. I saw it before you, and so you just actually saw it last night.
I did. I saw it last night at the Moxie.
Yeah. So should we get right into it?
Well, I don't know why we wouldn't.
Okay, so tell me.
Shall we?
What did you think? What did you
like? Really
liked
it.
Yeah. Tell me why.
I think overall, the acting on it was really good. So I felt like I was watching like home videos or something because they just seemed so natural in their characters.
Yeah, very realistic.
I really believed everything that I was watching. Like I kind of wanted to go Google search The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Because it's real.
Because it was real, right?
Right, it felt so real.
I just said Marigold too.
We're just going to change it. We're just going to change it to that.
So I liked that a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things I liked about the movie, but
yeah.
I mean, it had just about everything that I want to see in the movie.
The cast, since you mentioned the cast. You know, there's a whole bunch of them, and I feel like they all do a really good job. Did you feel like it made you realize, like the other summer movies, like thinking of Men in Black 3 or, you know, the big movies of the summer, like how the acting is, like, it isn't real acting, that it's like big movie acting? Like there's a difference? Could you, like, feel the difference?
I did.
In the performances?
I don't think I thought about it while I was watching.
Right.
But I am now that you mention that. Yeah, I think maybe, like, the big box office ones are overacting. And, very melodramatic or whatever.
Yeah, and it is what it is. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, those movies are a lot of fun to watch. It can be bad if it's over the top. Like, I saw the movie Battleship, and the acting in that movie is awful. I mean, just bad. And so it can be bad.
This is where I feel bad for you because you watch movies and you review movies.
All of them. I watch all of them.
I pretty much just anticipate from previews and
Right.
things like that, what's not going to be very good.
Well, sure, I can do that too, but
But
I
you
still
still have
go
to
see
go
them.
see it.
Yes, because I want to let other people know.
You still have to go endure the madness.
Yeah.
I really like the environment that I was watching the movie, and that also changes too. The theater that I was in fact, was almost all elderly. So
Oh, interesting.
the dynamic or the people that were actually in the theater
I'm trying to
seeing
think
it.
who was in the showing I went to. I got in there; it was already dark, so I wasn't. But I was kind of aware of. I wonder if there's an older audience for this, and I
Yeah.
think for the most part it was an older audience, which makes sense.
Yeah, and it was entertaining for them. I loved watching them laugh and hearing them laugh at parts. Like the movie starts off and it kind of introduces you to the characters and a little bit of their story, of course. And they do a really good job of that. Just enough information that you understand what's going on, but
Right.
not long and drawn out storylines. So it moves quickly, even though it's a different generation, which I also really enjoyed about the whole film.
Well, so overall, you liked it.
Yes.
I'd say the same. I liked it. In fact, I really liked it. Like, I think it's an amazing movie. I think it's really well done. I was impressed across the board with it. I was thinking of, because we'll talk about our favorite things and our worst things later, but I was thinking about like my worst things, and I couldn't really think of one. Like, I loved it.
So why are you talking about it right now?
Huh? Because we'll talk about it later. I'm just saying.
So why are we talking about it now if we're going to talk about it
Because what
later?
I'm saying is, this movie was so good that I was having a hard time coming up with that.
Mm-hmm.
I did manage to find one.
You did?
I did. I'll let you know later. Instead of now. But yeah, I loved it. I really think it's a very well done movie, and I really enjoyed watching it and then thinking about it as well. Like because I like to think about movies. Did you not think about the movie?
No, I thought about it.
Okay.
I thought about it a lot.
Yeah. Well, what did you think? Like, what about the movie? Let's go into that. Like, what of the messages in the movie like resonated with you in a way where you were pondering things?
Whoa.
Are you gonna have to ponder right now?
No, I thought that there were a lot of those elements to the story. They brought in a lot of really deeper storyline components to it. And it's a very mature movie.
Mm-hmm.
Each time that they bring up maybe like a serious topic or something that you would think about for your own life or for the life of someone that you know, the way that the characters were processing that was mature because they are mature people. And I really loved every single time I was like going along with their story and being impacted by their story, that the response to it was like a very mature response. I keep using that word, but it's the best word I could
Makes sense for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Do you feel like, even though it's a movie that deals with issues about kind of getting older and aging, and that the audiences we saw it with were primarily made up of older people, do you feel like younger ages could enjoy it?
There were young people in the audience too, and I absolutely, because it wasn't just we're going to deal with hip replacement. We're going to deal with just specifically the elderly topics. I mean, a lot of them are what you call evergreen topics. A lot,
Mm-hmm.
Where you've got your love questions
Sure.
and you're working through that. That can be for anybody. So yeah, I think anyone or any age group could definitely benefit from going and watching it. My brother went to go see it. I went to go see it, and we both really connected to it. My parents are in their 50s. They went to go see it. And then, like I said, there was a lot of people in the audience ranging in their 60s and 70s that, were laughing at the older jokes, like with the rail in the middle of the room kind of a thing, and they're all just laughing it up. And I'm thinking to myself, that's so funny because this is something that they're thinking about is how to move forward.
You mentioned that it takes those things that we all deal with, love, pain, death, although maybe death is something you think about more as you get older. Certainly, I would think death is something you think about more. But it takes those things, and then it allows you insight on how, as you get older, you might look at it. So, like, puts a spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that interesting because it's like, yes, we all relate to this, but here's how this group of people relate to it. And so there's a lot of those, oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way kind of moments.
I did that, too. Like, where all of a sudden I'm trying to become Danae in her 60s.
Yes,
70s.
exactly. Did you do that too?
Oh, yeah. I was like, man, I'm going to have to, be asking myself these same questions. And, I loved every part of it. I thought that it was a very believable movie.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoy.
For sure. Did I tell you when I went in to see it that the guy taking the tickets, did I tell you what he said?
No.
I said, I'm going to see Best Marigold Hotel, 3 o'clock, whatever it was, or whatever. He's like, oh, yeah, you're going to see the old people movie. Okay, I guess that's the one-sentence way to say it, but It was more than that.
You know, going back to the actors and actresses
Yeah.
of the film, I also thought that sometimes when you have a really talented actor or actress that you see in films, like, was it Maggie Smith or something?
Yeah, Maggie Smith.
I really enjoyed watching her. She's really fun, and she's got a
She's the one that's in the Harry Potter movies, too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also in Sound of Music, she's the nun.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not even think about that.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever saw her was in that movie. But anyhow, I love seeing her character in this because I want to see those good actors and actresses in movies.
Yeah.
Frequently, especially if they're really good. I don't get tired of them because they take on a new role. So I really enjoyed that this movie highlighted that age group. I thought that was really good.
Talk a little bit about the fact that there's so many of them. That's a hard thing to do. There are a lot of stories in this movie. There are like, what, 6 different stories, maybe?
Let's see.
Were you trying to think?
I wrote down all the names so I wouldn't forget them.
Yeah.
There were 7.
Are there 7 stories? I know there was a couple, and then there were...
I'm counting the couple as 2 separate people.
Okay. Well, they are 2, but I mean, as far as their stories started together at the beginning.
So 6 stories.
So 6 different stories, and to intertwine those is a very difficult thing. In fact, there are a couple movies lately that have just utterly failed at it.
Really?
Yeah, What to Expect When You're Expecting
Didn't do the job.
is like 6 or 7 different stories. And New Year's Day, or New Year's Eve, which is one of those movies that's like 12 different stories.
I remember the poster for that one. It was like 12 feet long.
Right, it had like all the names.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but what happens in those is you feel disconnected. If you feel disconnected from 1, 2, maybe 3 of those stories, there are whole sections of the movie where you're just looking at your watch going, okay, when can we get back to a story I care about?
That's so annoying.
And in this movie, you cared about every single story.
You did.
In a very real way.
You really did.
And it made it so that the movie not only kept its momentum, but you felt like there were 4 or 5 different things. You're like, oh, what's going to happen next? You know, where's this story going to go? And it was
even
really
beyond
compelling.
that, they start off with the 6 people or the 6 stories, and then when they go to India, there's stories in India as well. So if you think about who they meet, there's an additional 4 I can think of off the top 5.
That's a great point.
Off the top of my head that they interact with.
The manager of the hotel, which is so fun.
His family. Let's talk about that guy for a second.
Okay, yeah.
He was so fun. And movies most of the time have some kind of a comedy relief or comedic character of some kind. I really enjoyed
he was great.
His personality. The way that he was written was this almost over the top, optimistic.
Yes, I loved it.
Trying to sell something all the time.
I identified with it so much.
Oh yeah, and I loved the overall what was the quote of the movie?
I was just thinking of that. I was just trying to think of that. You'll know. It's something about the end.
Everything will be all right in the end.
And if it's not all right, it's not the end. Oh, that's so good. Yeah.
And they mentioned it just a couple times, and then again towards the end. They actually had a lot of really good sayings in there.
Yeah, it was good. There was a lot of good stuff. The movie also will probably have some Oscar buzz about it with the performances that were in it.
Good.
And that's not a surprise considering the director of the movie, whose name I forget, but I'm going to look. John Madden. John Madden directed this movie, directed Shakespeare in Love, which actually won Best Picture the year it came out, although that was a big controversy because it beat Saving Private Ryan. A lot of people wanted that movie to win. But so he has like Oscar, pedigree and award pedigree. So what?
Sorry, I just saw someone drive a motorcycle on the sidewalk right behind you. I was really, whoa. It's rare that actually happens.
I was like, what is she thinking, Oscar? Like, she's thinking Oscar the Grouch in the trash can? Like he gives out these awards, or I just was trying to figure out. No, somebody's just driving a motorcycle down the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Very nice. How old were they?
Probably in their 20s or 30s.
Okay. So
a young, crazy couple.
Wasn't a late life,
That would have been extra hilarious.
Yes, that would have been very extra hilarious. So I did want to mention John Madden because I think that is, this movie I think solidifies him as like a person that can make powerful movies.
He did.
And he did, absolutely did.
What do you think about it being in India?
I was going to ask you that. The culture of India in this movie is so vibrant. And I feel like so real.
Yeah.
Because they were in India.
Right.
Obviously, they were in India. And so many of the things they dealt with and the places the story went had to do with that culture and, the call centers and, all the stuff. And I loved it. Absolutely loved that it was in India and that it portrayed India in that way.
One of the things I really liked about I'm invested in the stories, I'm enjoying the characters, I'm enjoying the acting, and having a good time, and there's always something interesting to look at. I mean, I'm from the Midwest, so there's pictures of India that I see, in movies that I've watched and things like that. They're always so intriguing because there's so much going on in just one scene. You've got all these people, all these colors, and I also really enjoyed the music. I thought that it was extremely compelling, and you were really involved in that space.
I didn't look to see who did the music. Did you happen to look to see who did that? No, because I thought it was really good too.
Yeah.
I really thought it was good. Also, the movie is funny.
Yeah, it
right?
is. Laugh out loud funny, actually.
Yeah, I really
several times.
And it has to be. Like when you make a movie like this, where there's a lot of drama and a lot of stories, if you don't have that occasional humor, then it can begin to feel really just burdensome.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of humor in this, and a lot of the resolutions to the stories are just very lighthearted and fun, and it's definitely a funny movie. Did you find yourself laughing a lot?
I did. I laughed quite a few times. I laughed at some of the obvious jokes, and then I found myself wishing that I could laugh even a little bit more. I'd like to go back and watch it again, actually.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely one I would like to watch again. I don't know that it's one necessarily you have to see on the big screen, and the only reason I would say you have to see it on the big screen is just if you want to see it sooner, because it's that good. But
it is that good.
It really is good. And maybe some of the India stuff, the beauty of the setting, might be better on the big screen. But I think you rent this on DVD, you're going to catch how good the movie is, on your TV at home. So you can, I would say it's one you could wait and rent on DVD, only just because it's not a big, eye candy kind of movie.
Skip the DVD and just buy it. Like, don't rent it, just buy it. It's
wow. They're going to have some trust, some faith in you, Danae. Can they have that faith in you, Danae? If they buy this movie, Danae, because you said skip the rental, just go ahead and buy it, and they could have gotten it at Redbox for $1. It just would have cost them $1 more to rent it and then buy it, but they skipped it, and then they watch it, and they're like, oh, Danae, can they have that trust in you? You rethinking? You want to still skip the rental? You can stick with it?
No, you should buy it.
Okay, there you go. Danae is @_Danae on Twitter. If you want to tweet her once you've, should I give out your home address?
Yeah.
No. Okay, fine. Yeah, I thought it was great, and the big pass is the big reason for that.
Let's do best worst.
You want to do best of worst stuff?
I'm ready.
Okay. What do you want to start with? We should start with worst to do best last.
Okay.
So we can be encouraging. Do you want me to start, or you want to start?
You go ahead.
Okay. Worst thing for me, which, like I said,
you had
hard
to think
to
about
find. I really had to think about this, but I picked a character as the worst thing. It was the mom character, the overbearing mom character of the manager of the hotel. Just stood out to me as the fakest thing in the movie. Like, it just seemed like an archetype, like I don't know. It wasn't. And maybe it's unfair because of all those other performances that she's acting against, but it just seemed to be a little one note for me. I'm telling you, that is stretching, because she wasn't awful.
No, her acting wasn't bad, but I mean, I can...
That character just seemed a little overplayed.
And almost as like if there was one person in the entire movie that could be taken out and you didn't miss anything, it would be her.
Exactly. She existed only to provide some conflict.
Yeah.
And I think that conflict maybe could have been provided in other ways.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly. Or by a role of a different archetype.
She did add to the culture and kind of gave an opening for cultural references and things like that, which watching a movie about India or based in India,
right.
I kind of like that, but I can see your point.
Yeah.
My least fave is actually something that you can't help at all, because I had a hard time finding something I know too.
It's a good movie.
I think it's just that when you watch a movie that has accents or different dialects, I feel like I'm missing some of the conversation. And in fact, I know I'm missing some of the conversation.
Now, are you talking about the Indian accents, or are you talking about the English accents?
Both.
Okay.
Because these are English actors.
Yeah, we didn't even mention that. It's an English-produced movie. Yeah, exactly.
So they have their accent and their tones and their inflections, which is fine. And so does the Indian culture, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm following pretty well, but I would say I followed it at about 80%. I usually pick up on stuff real quickly, but there's a couple times whenever maybe quick conversation or just, popping back and forth, and I know I missed something for several reasons. But the main reason is because someone else would laugh, and I'd be like, oh, man, I missed something.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually will be purchasing the movie and watching it several times, and I'm sure I'll pick up on more.
With the subtitles on?
I might. I don't know. But it's
I don't remember feeling that. I don't remember feeling that, but I do know what you're saying. In fact, one thing about that kind of stands out to me, and I think it's true in this movie, is when you're in another country and characters in a moment that would absolutely speak their first language speak English instead, for whatever reason, that takes me out of the reality of the movie. Now, a lot of this, that's not the case because these are English-speaking people, and the Indians in the movie are speaking to them.
Right.
That makes sense. But there are moments of interaction between, for instance, the mom and son, or between the hotel manager and girlfriend, where I feel like they should be speaking their own language, and I should be seeing subtitles. That would feel more real to me. That's my own little pet peeve. I don't know that most people deal with that, but the subtitle thing is one of those things that I think movie makers are afraid of it because they think audiences don't want to do the work to read. I would much rather read in English what they're saying and let them speak the emotion of their own language.
I can be on the fence on that one.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't mind reading subtitles, but it takes my eyes off of the beauty of what's going on, and that's more bothersome to me than the trouble of reading or whatever.
Sure.
So what's your favorite?
My best thing, I have to go with an actor, Bill Nighy.
Who was he?
He was the one in the couple, the man in the couple.
Oh, Mr. Abercrombie?
Could be. But he has this role. He plays this...
Ainsley.
Yes, Mr. Ainsley.
Yeah.
He plays this role where he has this transformation in this movie that is beautiful and wonderful. And some of the scenes he's in where he's contemplating, I'm trying not to give a lot away, but he's contemplating these deep things and he has one scene in particular where he breaks down emotionally, and he had me. I mean, I was just glued to his emotion and feeling it, and I was blown away by his performance. And there are some great ones in this movie. Tom Wilkerson is another one.
Which one was he?
He was the one who went over looking for his relationship that he had in India before he left. He had
Graham?
Yes, the homosexual. He was the homosexual in the movie. That's probably the easiest way to identify him.
In theory.
In theory more than practice. That's exactly what he said, yes. But his performance was incredible as well, as were many of the others. I mean, Judi Dench is incredible in this movie.
Again, which one was she?
I almost called her the main one. The main woman.
Oh, Evelyn.
Yes. I think it starts off with her.
Yes.
Yeah. The one who helped out at the call center. Another amazing performance. But Bill Nighy, that was my favorite part. He was incredible. Love him. You.
I don't have one.
What?
I've been trying to think, and I can't think of one. I liked it all so much, but I can't.
Well, then I can get a second one. That's how this works.
No, because you just talked about three.
That's how this works.
You just talked about three.
If you don't have a worst thing or a best thing, you give it to somebody else. It defaults to another person. And being as I'm the only other person in the room, I get your best thing.
No.
Yes.
No.
I already did it. Tom Wilkerson. We'll go with that.
Exactly. You already did
the other actors in the ensemble.
The many actors.
There were so many good things. You're right. This is a great movie. It's a movie I think worth checking out. Either now or eventually. It might not even be playing. It's kind of playing in art houses and in some bigger cinemas. But I mean, the Cineplexes right now, they are the Avengers and Men in Black and Prometheus coming out this weekend, and they're not necessarily worried about these smaller movies, but you might be able to find it, and if so, I think you're in for a good treat. Don't you think?
Definitely.
If you're anything like us, at least.
I'm still trying to think of the favorite.
You know what I didn't talk about? Here, I'm gonna steal your favorite with this.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm gonna steal.
Second time you stole my favorite.
I know. Well, that's what you get for not coming up with one. These are the consequences. I loved how it made me think about my own mortality. I really loved that. And when I say I loved it, I mean it destroyed me. Like, I got in this place where I started thinking about my own death, what that means, and, as somebody who has a very strong faith in the afterlife. You know, that's very much a part of what I believe, and you know, I believe that God loved us and He wants to have this relationship with us forever.
I love Jesus.
Exactly, yes. As somebody who believes that, you know, I can be confident in that, but at the same time, I'm human and I have these doubts, and so I contemplate all these. You know, the afterlife's going to be amazing, but what if I'm wrong? What does that look like? What does non-existence look like? You know, how do I contemplate not being an entity? You know, all of those things, and I just processing them and getting lost in them. There's something I think valuable about that. There's something that I like where my brain is allowed to ponder the imponderables. You know, and this movie definitely did that for me. I have lost you. Are you gone? Hello, Renee?
No, I'm thinking along the same lines that you are, and then I'm kind of getting lost in my own thoughts, and then all of a sudden I realize what my favorite part is.
Yay!
But you've already taken it twice.
Okay, go ahead.
You've already taken it.
What is it? What's your favorite part?
My favorite part of the movie is that they went into something unknown on purpose, and like they all broke through some kind of a barrier.
Mm.
I think that's no matter what age you are, it's something that I think maybe you kind of fear that you'll just sort of give up eventually and kind of stop wanting to live and stop wanting to have adventures and stop wanting to try something new and different. But you're watching each of these characters that's lived the greater portion of their life not only move into a different country, but even go on their own adventures within that country and try something new. And I really love that part.
That is great. You know, just the idea of I never want to stop having adventures, right?
Right.
Never want to pursuing something exciting, something new. That's a great point. I like that. That's a good finishing place too.
Word.
So we can be done.
I think so.
Are we done? Oh, we need to thank people.
We do have to thank people.
We need to thank people. Okay.
For anyone watching, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to Shoe the Dough. You can subscribe on iTunes and leave a comment and rate, which we definitely appreciate.
Helps us out a lot. If you go to iTunes and just rate us, just click the 5 stars. I mean, we would assume that's what you would want to rate us, please. Or leave a comment. Both of those things make it so it's easier for other people to find. So if you like what you've heard at all, if you don't mind doing that, that'd be great.
It would be great. You can also find us on most social networking sites, including Facebook and Twitter and G+ and all that good stuff.
You can watch us live Monday and Wednesday at 1 o'clock Central.
Hey,
we do the
on the Central.
Yeah, well, I remembered at that time. And interact with us then as well. You can text us or tweet us, and during the show, as it happens live, as we do kind of the recording, and we'd love to hear from you that way.
Also want to thank 88.3 The Wind for letting us use the studio, and Chris Tilley of Hazel Records for providing some awesome music for us. And Google, because
we don't have to thank Google.
Hey, I wanted to thank Google this time. You got to thank them last time.
Okay, thank Google. Go ahead, thank him again. Go ahead. Thank him again.
Thank you, Google.
You don't have to thank Google. And thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.